The Phoenix Suns have flown under the radar as one of the hottest teams in the league, while superstar Kevin Durant has quietly been one of the best players, and Phoenix fighting for a top 6 seed despite constantly being banged up. In a tight Western Conference, the Suns are not a team to forget about as they can go toe-to-toe with anyone and have a championship ceiling. The Suns are surprisingly capable on both sides of the ball, with the 9th highest offense rating and 13th highest defensive rating, something that will be talked about way more later in the video, as they have been very good recently. Despite starting 14-15, they have turned their season around, going 24-12 since the Christmas Day loss, which sits 6th across the entire NBA and better than higher seeds Timberwolves and the Eastern Milwaukee Bucks. A big reason for that is because of the health of the main core of this team. In that 36-game stretch, Durant has missed just 4 matches, Booker 5 and Beal 6, while in the first 29 games, Booker and Beal played a combined 17. The health of this team is not guaranteed, with Beal consistently missing time over the last few seasons, and Durant and Booker aren't the most healthy players, but if they are able to stay healthy, then what they have been doing over the last couple months is not a fluke, but what we should expect of them. Now, this is a team that was criticized as a group that could be taking too many mid-rangers and tough shots, and though the Suns were fine with that, getting some of the best mid-range shooters in the league, NBA fans thought it could be detrimental, but this team's shot quality is elite. Despite having the lowest rim and 3 rate, they sit 3rd in shot quality, only sitting behind the Celtics and Nuggets. They are also 1st in adjusted offensive shot quality and sit top 8 defensively, with the 2nd best shot quality record. It really doesn't matter if they take a lot of mid-rangers, even though it is 2024, because Kevin Durant and Devin Booker are just so good at it, and they're tough shot making once they get to their spots, with both of them shooting over 45% on pull-up field goals, and aside from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, have the highest field goal percentage among the 38 most high-volume pull-up shooters, despite being top 6 in attempts, with over 1,100 combined. What was considered to be a big hole at point guard has really not mattered much this year. This team has so many shot makers, whether it is creators in isolation like Durant, Booker, and Beal, or guys that excel in off-ball shot making, which I will talk about later, like Eric Gordon and Grayson Allen, and their main 3 offensive creators having playmaking capabilities. It has not been a detriment to this offense, which sits as one of the best. Kevin Durant deserves much of the praise. He virtually single-handedly carried a damaged squad in the first 30th games of the year and has had one of his best seasons in his career. This year, KD is averaging 28.5 points, which ranks 4th in the league among qualified players, and is doing it at 52, 42, 85 splits, becoming just the 2nd player to ever hit those marks, joining 1984-85 MVP Larry Bird. He's on pace to reach the 3rd most total points in a single season in franchise history, despite missing 7 games, and is currently destroying the previous 27.2 point per game mark by Tom Chambers for single season points per game. Durant has of course been one of the best players in isolation as one of his best skills, but has also showed some skill in the pick and roll and post up. He has been elite off the ball too, helping the offense move without an elite traditional point guard, as he is making 1.5 catch and shoot threes a game on 45% with a 65% effective field goal percentage on catch and shoot field goal attempts. Durant has also been very underrated defensively, having one of his best defensive seasons in recent memory, and alongside Jusuf, Nurkic have made some good defensive lineups with length and bigger guys that can move around and play different coverages and actions with fast hands. Though the Suns defense was expected to be horrid, it has not been that bad. Devin Booker is a capable defender, and Beal is excelling in his role, and with less offensive pressure has taken a defensive leap with Phoenix. They are 9th in defensive rating since Christmas Day, and though they are streaky defensively, the adjusted defensive shot quality shows that they aren't bad and force teams to take unlikable and contested shots. But one of the big main issues is defensive rebounding, as the backup big situation is terrible. 6'9" Drew Eubanks, who is a consistent key part of the rotation and averages over 16 minutes per game since January 26th, consistently gets cooked defensively and is not a great rebounder, which is why you see these crazy rebounding numbers by Jusuf Nurkic, who has 3 games over 20 rebounds and averaging over 10 a game in less than 28 minutes this year. Bol is becoming a more consistent player, coming more into shape defensively and not getting exposed to actions anymore, and even though he has those great moments and is still on a game-to-game basis, he's becoming more of an actual player, and depending on the game can heavily help the Suns. Thad Young was signed after a buyout with the Nets and can rebound in spot minutes, but usually does not play, though with how bad the backup big situation is, could be an option. The other big problem is their 4th quarter struggles. Phoenix often simplifies their offense in crunch time to an extreme amount, with Durant and Booker going ISO heavy, as the Suns sit below 500 in clutch games with a 17-19 record and shoot just 41.4% from the field. They also have by far the worst plus minus in the 4th quarter with a -3, as the 29th ranked Heat don't even crack a -1.5. They score less than 25 and the offense completely falls apart, but that isn't to lose hope. Post All-Star break, they have been marginally better in the last 12 minutes, and if there is an offensive duo that I would expect to figure it out, Booker and Durant are up there and arguably number 1. With tough shot making being a must in the playoffs, and especially in close games in the playoffs, those are 2 guys that can fix these struggles and carry the offense when it matters. Just want to hop in here asking, if you enjoy the videos, please subscribe. It would help a lot and it would mean a ton to me, and like 99.7% of y'all aren't subscribed. But back to it. While I did mention this earlier, this team has been very successful off the ball. Grayson Allen has had a huge part in that and may be one of the most important role players this season in the entire NBA. While he has always been a gritty defender and pest similar to Patrick Beverley, he's having his best offensive season of his career, and it really isn't close. Allen is averaging a career high 13.1 points per game with 3 assists, additionally a career high. But what he has done best is shooting, with a league-leading 47.9% three-point percentage. Yes, Grayson Allen is leading the NBA in historic league-wide shooting outbreaks above all-time greats like Steph Curry and Damian Lillard, and even specialists who are having very good years like Duncan Robinson and Malik Beasley. As a team, the Suns sit 7th in catch-and-shoot three-point percentage at 38.7%, making 9 a game, and 5 players making 1 or more, with of course Grayson Allen, but also Eric Gordon leading the way with more than 2. A must for this team to do good is for Durant, Booker, and Beal to be healthy, like previously mentioned, but they have been very good when they play together. In just over 500 minutes together, they have a plus-minus of plus 95, the 11th highest out of any Suns trio, despite playing in 25 games, the least games out of any of those top 11 lineups. Though that trio has not been great defensively, the offense is absolutely amazing, like we expected, shooting over 54% from the field and 42% from 3. They scored 1,328 points, which would be on pace for 126 points over a normal 48-minute game. Interestingly, over 300 of the minutes with all 3 of these players are with Grayson Allen and Jusuf Nurkic, which is genuinely one of the best and most efficient offensive lineups in the league, shooting 56.7% from the field and 45.5% from 3, with Allen of course helping that number, and that lineup scoring 816 points, on pace for 131 over a 48-minute game. Looking across all of their top lineups, where there seemingly has not been much continuity aside from the most common 2, with just those 2 having more than 75 minutes, but a main focal point is the deep ball, with a bunch of their high usage lineups having a 40% or more three-point percentage. The defensive duo of Kevin Durant and Jusuf Nurkic have positives defensively and been an underrated duos, despite at this point in both of their careers being on the downfall defensively, and Royce O'Neal is also part of some solid defensive 3-man lineups like KD, Nurkic, and Royce, or KD, Booker, and Royce. This team has found things that work defensively, and in the last month before the postseason will be a mission to zone in on the positives defensively. This team being built by its star power, and one of its weaknesses is not having a great bench, though the sporting cast is better than expected, actually translates very well to the playoffs, as Kevin Durant is undoubtedly good enough to be the 1 on a championship team, which people underrate how good you have to be a 1, and they can go toe-to-toe with anybody, and they sit around 500 with teams above that mark overall. The star power and playoff experience with Durant and Booker is extremely rare, as arguably only 1 or 2 other teams have that talented of a duo, and the playoffs are really where it matters for this team. Though it will be very useful to escape the play and get a top 6 seed, which will be very close, this team will be judged on the playoffs. Trading virtually every single tradable pick to get stars Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal to bolster this team short term means that the window is not big. KD's 35 years old, and since the Achilles rupture in 2019, he has not reached 60 games until this year. He also is not known for staying on a team for an extended amount of time, and other star Bradley Beal has been consistently injury prone the last few seasons. This window is very short, and most likely they only have a few seasons to win a championship, with this one potentially being the best chance. It is championship or bust for the Phoenix Suns, who have already had some playoff success and made the finals in the Devin Booker 2020s era, but that is a realistic goal. Though they are not in the tier 1 of contenders like the Nuggets and Celtics mentioned in the last video, their star power, playoff experience, and shooting gives them a legit path to win a championship team, as that is something champions need. And in such a close Western Conference, every series will be a battle, but it would be very hard to bet against a healthy Suns squad.